So first of all, on behalf of the Gotcho family and the Cox family, welcome to the wedding celebration of Erica and Garrett Cox. Mr. and Mrs. Erica and Garrett Cox. Being Labor Day, we all have many, many options, especially living here in Michigan. And it means so much that all of you are here today to be with us for this most sacred event. You could have been many, many places, north, south, east, or west. But it means a tremendous amount to these kids and all of us that you're here. I'm going to go off script for a moment, and I cannot help but say something to my wife. Marty, 2 weddings, 2 stressed out brides, many, many personalities, 10,000 details, and you did it with tremendous grace and unparalleled organization. Way to go. Maybe it's my honeymoon too. Anyway, Garrett, welcome to the family. You know, the interesting thing about gaining another son, first TJ, then Kick, now Garrett, something has become incredibly apparent to me. I'm getting shorter. With each marriage, I get shorter and shorter. So I've told Marty now for the family pictures going forward, I will be sitting down. The only male in our family shorter than me is our dog Cooper, of course. But it's great to certainly have Garrett in the family. I'd also like to say something about Galen Cox, Garrett's father. He made it very, very clear from the first time Erica and Garrett met that they were going to be married. In fact, Galen was dropping Garrett off, and I was taking the kids back to college. And I met him and talked to him in the driveway for 30 seconds. And he said, you know, Erica's spectacular, wonderful girl, and I can't wait for the kids to get married. And of course, Erica was a sophomore at the time, right? So this was a little unsettling to me, but certainly he knew, and I'm sure he's very happy today that this came to fruition, and he'd be very, very, very proud of Garrett for the fine young man that he's become and all that he has accomplished. There's no way I could fill his shoes, but if you ever need that fatherly advice, I'm certainly there for you to provide that. Garrett and Erica met 6 years ago at Michigan State University, and they met in October, and I remember for November, we always have Thanksgiving at our house, and it's a small gathering of, say, 65 people. And Erica said to me for the first time ever, and oh, by the way, Garrett, she did date occasionally before you. But she said to me, I'd like Garrett to come over and meet the family. Shocking to me, that had never happened. But I, of course, said, great idea. It'd be wonderful to have him come over. So he came over. And, of course, after he left, he was sort of the talk of the family. And everybody said to me, of course, Tom, what do you think? And I, of course, said, well, I will hold judgment. Who knows? Typical grumpy old man, right? So I held judgment, but shortly thereafter I knew that he was the one as well. So the following summer, we have a lake house up on Mullet Lake, and the following summer, Erica and Garrett said, can we have a few friends over for the 4th of July celebration, have a beer or two, and maybe stay a day or two? Well, I can tell you that their idea of a beer or two and a day or two is quite different from what I thought that meant. They stayed for 4 or 5 days. The Toppinabee Market ran out of beer, vodka, and ice. And Jeff, the owner, afterwards said, following years, let me know if that gang's coming so I can right-size the inventory because it's a money grab for me, and I want to make sure that I'm in good shape for these kids. So Mullet Lake has been a very special place. Their friends have come up for years. Jimmy and Kelly, engaged, right? Mark and Elena, married. Is it Mullet Lake? Is there something in the water, you know? Getz has been up, of course. Birchie's been up. Brian's been up. Nick's been up, just to name a few. And one of the things I can tell you, my father, Bob Gottschall, always said, is you can judge the character of somebody by the friends that he keeps. And I can tell you that all of you are terrific people, and I hope you feel that you're part of my extended family. So with that, I was thinking, it is again a special place. And in July of 2015, Mr. Garrett Cox asked for permission to ask for Erica's hand in marriage. And of course, I made him sweat for a little bit. In fact, I think I was hosing down the dock, and I maybe hosed him down a little bit. I don't know. But very quickly, I gave him certainly my blessing. And later that day, with all of their friends watching on video, Garrett took Erica by the hand, walked her to the end of the dock, went on a knee with the silhouette of Mullet Lake behind them, and asked her hand in marriage. And it was quite a sight because we all were pretty sure what Erica was going to say, but you never know, right? So in honor of this place, I thought I wanted to do something really special for Garrett this evening. And I thought for a moment about giving him a key to the cottage. However, being a frat boy, right? Suddenly I could imagine a frat party with 100 people breaking out when Marty and I were off someplace, them burning the cottage down, ramming the boat into the dock, doing whatever. So I decided to give him something that's equally as valuable, and here it is from TJ. This is a Mullet Lakers golf shirt. He's looking for the key still. So now he's officially part of the Mullet Lakers family. So Erica, what can I say about you? By the way, what a beautiful bride. Erica's witty, charming, smart, and always just really a tremendously uplifting person. In fact, what you don't know, there's a middle child syndrome. Those of you that have middle children maybe have read about this. The syndrome is that they're unfriendly, jealous, and difficult at times to deal with. It doesn't apply to all middle children. Maybe my brother, it does, because he's a middle child. But Erica, of course, is all the opposite of those things. She's very, very positive. She's always been Kristen's best friend, confidant, and really cheerleader in life. She's always given TJ a tremendous amount of life lesson advice and told him simply, always go for it. But here's a quick little story. We were in Maui 12 years ago, and we stayed at a nice resort, and as we left the resort to go to the pool, there was an area where people were cliff diving. It was maybe 4 stories up. My kids now remember this. So we walked by it, and we all looked up, and Erica blurts out, "We got to go for it. We've got to go jump." And of course, Marty and I, sensible adults, grabbed our kids in tow, went to the pool, and said, there's certainly no way that we're going to do this. So after about half an hour, Erica takes Kristen and TJ back to the cliff. And Marty and I sat there for a little bit, and time seemed to be passing, and I thought, I better go see what's going on at the cliff. I get over to the cliff. To my horror, Kristen and TJ are standing at the base of this mountain, it looked like to me, and there's Erica going up the switchback, back and forth, of this huge, massive, volcanic hulk. And it was higher than the ceiling for sure. And it's funny because at the top there were some boys that were trying to get the courage to jump. Erica walks out to them, says, "Are you going to jump?" And they're kind of looking at her. She goes to the edge, jumps. Down she goes. She plunges from the ocean, laughing hysterically, and as she swam to shore, she said, "You guys have got to do this." And long story short, we ended up doing it that day. Erica is the go-for-it person in our family. She encouraged us, and we all jumped from that cliff that day. It was quite amazing. So Erica and I have always had that wonderful daddy-daughter bond. The culmination of that was walking her down the aisle today. For all those of you that have had the pleasure of doing that, it's a little nerve-wracking because everybody is there watching you. Your goal is to keep it together, and we more or less did keep it together. But Erica, you've always inspired me and have always really been there to show me that you can accomplish anything in life that you possibly want to. So it's really a pleasure to have today come. As fathers give away their daughters, a lot of people feel a little bittersweet. I feel none of that. I'm really, really happy for you today. Finally, my toast. So, gentlemen, don your hats. So you can see we have a theme here. And just as a side, of course, I couldn't get off this quickly. The funny thing about the nautical theme is that Garrett was with Erica boat hopping, how many years ago? 5 years ago. And and I thought, Garrett's a good guy, no problem, trust him. Well, Erica, in this boat hopping expedition, broke her leg. And so it is sort of ironic that we've come full circle and we have once again embracing the nautical theme. But our goal here tonight is to help them set sail for marriage. A little corny, huh? But anyway, yeah. Set sail. So anyway, marriage is a phenomenal institution. You are now one. You will accomplish everything you want to accomplish in life. I am certain of that. Garrett is the most determined person I know, and I know a lot of people. I have seen him overcome everything and has dealt with things that are difficult, certainly, to deal with. And I'm really, really proud to have him part of my family. So please raise your glasses. Join me in the celebration of Erica and Garrett and wishing them great success and a holy existence and a loving family.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, I'm Kristen Gard, formerly Gotchel, Erica's older sister and matron of honor. I would like to thank my parents, Marty and Tom, for hosting a beautiful wedding. Second one this summer. Erica, I'm so honored to be here toasting your marriage. You look absolutely stunning. Garrett, you look pretty good too. Is that a custom suit? Maybe. Erica, I'm so lucky to have you as my sister and my best friend. Growing up with you is my most cherished memory. As kids, we had matching toddler clothes, thanks Mom, and undying love for Disney movies. Erica played a great Simba, while I, of course, had to be Nala. And don't even get me started on the endless amount of hours we spent playing Barbies in our basement. As teens, we had Oakland Hills dances, sneaking off from family vacations to go find cute boys, and then Marion High School. It's amazing having the Mary Kate to my Ashley. I can still think back to how excited I was when Erica told me that she was coming to Michigan State. And then again when she told me she wanted to join Theta. Theta Love! I'm so happy for you on your wedding day. You and Garrett have something really extraordinary. While you were getting to know the frat boy from the Sigma Chi tailgate, your friends let me know he was a great person and that you two could be a beautiful pair. Getting to know Garrett through Michigan State road trips, holidays, and late nights at our Mullet Lake Cottage, I quickly came to see that he was perfect for you and that I had no problem being your third wheel. Erica and Garrett's relationship and love for each other gives off such an aura that you can't help but smile in their presence. Their love is contagious and has taught me the type of love, honor, and care that we all really deserve. I could not be more excited to continue to be by your side for many years to come. Now, if you would all please join me in raising your glass to toast the new Mr. and Mrs. Garrett and Erica Cox. Congratulations, you guys. I love you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jimmy Saros, and I was lucky enough to be chosen by the big guy here to be his best man. On behalf of the newlyweds, thank you everyone here for spending today with us. Thank you, Mrs. Cox, Mr. and Mrs. Gottschall, for putting on and hosting such a beautiful day. And I'm sure as you've all have heard that this is the Gottschall's second wedding in the last 3 months here. How are you guys? You guys holding up okay? Good. We're almost there. We're almost across the finish line. Maybe pop a couple baby aspirin. Try to enjoy the night, because I know once the bar tab comes tonight, you guys are really going to be putting your heart to the test. We don't need a third casualty on the day. Garrett and Erica, a.k.a. Garrica. It's a real privilege to stand up here with you guys today. And Garrett, it was a real honor to lead this army of troops that you call a wedding party. We were rolling very deep on the altar today. So let me tell you about how when Garrett and I met. It was the 90s. I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly was top 10 on the radio. Bill Clinton was in the White House. And pants that could zip off into shorts were the latest fashion trends. It was the best of times. We met in second grade in Miss Cachadorian's class. And Garrett was by far the funniest kid in class. He also had this gnarly mushroom cut, for any of you that remember it. I myself actually wanted to get a mushroom cut like Garrett more than anything. I'd actually pleaded my parents to please let me get a mushroom cut, but with no avail. It's still something kind of on my bucket list that I want to accomplish, so I actually considered getting a mushroom cut for the wedding, but my new boss / dad, again, put the kibosh in it. So one day. So ever since the second grade, Garrett and I have been best buddies. We always would, and I still do to this day, get so excited to hang out with Garrett because every time you do, you're guaranteed to have a good time. Whether it is going off-roading across the golf course at the Country Club of Detroit, staying in on a Friday night and watching the movie Soul Plane, starring Method Man, while Garrett recites every single line, you're guaranteed to go home at the end of the night with your cheeks hurting from laughter. He's just non-stop entertainment. So, when I was writing this speech about 5 minutes ago in the men's room, I really sat there and reflected on what a solid friend Garrett is. How big his personality is, how intelligent, hardworking, kind-hearted, and quick-witted he is. And I just thought to myself how proud I am to have a best friend like Garrett. Garrett is one of those rock star personalities that you really only meet a couple times in your life. So, my next thought, though, was that he had to be. Given his last name, he had no choice. I'm sure Galen, who we miss very much and wish he was here today, but I know he's here in spirit. I'm sure Galen pulled you aside at a young age and said, look, buddy, you got to strike first and you got to strike fast. Or else your entire life is going to be the butt end of every phallic joke known to man. And Sure enough, he did not disappoint. Somehow, Garrett went by relatively unscathed our entire life. It's like no one even realized what his last name was. I'm actually pretty dumbfounded by the whole thing. I guess being blessed with those Cox family genes and being the tallest guy in the room didn't hurt either. But all kidding aside, I really could not ask for a better friend in life. If I could name one friend who I knew would always be there for me, it is Garrett. And we've been there for one another during some very tough times. And I know that no matter how long the flight, how crazy our schedule is, we'll always be there for one another. And, it's something I wouldn't trade for the entire world, buddy. Now on to the bride. A beautiful, beautiful bride. Erica, you really were stunning today. Garrett is really, so-called for any of you football fans out there, outkicked his coverage when it comes to Erica. I met Erica at my Christmas party, which we host every year, which is sponsored by Jim Seros Real Estate Services, as is this portion of tonight's program. And I could tell immediately that this was the girl Garrett was going to marry. They just clicked. She immediately fit in with our group of friends. Me and her immediately hit it off. And I know that's very rare for someone just to be able to assimilate into a new group of friends so easily. Lost my spot. And here we are. So I knew Garrett had found his match. And I actually knew, that Erica had also fallen in love with him for the same reason that all of our friends did. His big personality and his quick-wittedness. Just a great guy to always be around, because it sure as hell was not for his physique. For those of you who have not seen a picture of Garrett in college, please find me later. It literally looks like he ate himself. Luckily, though, he has dropped about 60 pounds since college. And I actually truly believe that the fact that Garrett was still able to land such a beautiful, great girl from a great family, managed to make her fall in love with him, is probably the truest depiction of what a great man he truly is. So over the years, I've grown to love Erica and her family. I've loved the two of them together, and I couldn't be more excited that my future wife, Kelly, and I have two of the best friends that anyone could ask for. So, Erica, you are now also faced with the challenge of your new last name. But if there is a single woman in this entire world that has the personality to take on this challenge, it is you. And I'm truly confident that you will thrive being a Cox. So I wish you guys the best in your new life together. Kelly and I are excited to be there every step of the way. Now, if everyone could please raise their glass. Sorry, it was lengthy. But to the tallest, funnest, blondest couple that I know, I love you guys very much. Congratulations.
I was all geared up about that a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, I got to say something. Why would I not say anything? It's my whole deal. Then everyone else gave theirs, and I'm like, wow, I really did not prepare as well as I should have. But Eric and I just wanted to take a brief moment. Thank you guys all so much for coming here today. I mean, it's really unbelievable. And I know today is supposed to be just about the bride and how fantastic she looks. And I know it came up, I look fantastic also. Like everyone looks good. I mean, we all do. It's not me, though. It's her. It's not me. But we wanted to, I wanted to stand up today and tell you it's really not about it. It's really about you guys. I mean, each and every one in this room has made such a unique impact on Eric and I's lives that it's really all of you collectively that brought us here today. It was ultimately me 6 years ago when Eric and I had our first kiss at Sigma Chi at 4 a.m. That may or may not have not happened, depending on which one of us you ask, but I thought it was beautiful. But regardless of how things started, neither of us would change how we got here today. But what I really want to point out is, as you look around the room today, there's no strangers in this room. There's no one invited out of social obligation. No one's here by luck or chance. You're here today because Eric and I think of, each one of you as family. And no matter what of you know us 2 years or 20 years, we only choose to share these moments with family. And also, there's been some great things said about the people that aren't with us today. And I know that's supposed to be the sad part of these speeches, but Eric and I really don't see it that way. To us, we feel fortunate enough to hold those individuals in our hearts for every moment of every day, so that really nothing is missed. And I know for me, it makes it just a little bit easier. If my dad were here, I'd be carving out a couple of minutes. We'd be showing the Northwest commercial. We'd be telling him 3 million actual flight miles, a couple of age-old stories that will not be forgotten. But with all that, I'm going to take some advice from Tom, take it or not, and land the plane. I don't think Tom really takes his own advice on those type of things, but I want to take some of Tom's advice, but not before giving a very special thank you to my mom, whose strength over the last year has really been inspirational to Eric and I and really made things special. And I want to give another very, very special thank you to Tom and Marty. Overwhelming compassion and support this year. And honestly, without them, we would be hosting this at Jimmy's dad's house. We'd be ordering Mama Rose's pizza. It would be beautiful, but it wouldn't be where we are today. So thank you guys so much for everything. So with that all being said, I just want to let you know, whether you've known us again for 2 years or 20 years, you may have come here today thinking that you were just going to celebrate our marriage, but the fact of the matter is, my wife and I brought you here today to welcome you to our family, and each one of us challenge all of you to let this night be nearly a benchmark in which we manage our future happiness. Cheers.
As Garrett's godfather-in-law, I'm deeply honored when Garrett called me and asked me to be a part of Erica and his special day. I pray my words will be a worthy substitute for those of a special man who could not be with us today. Erica and Galen lit up when he talked about you all. There's no doubt in my mind that he is gazing down from heaven at this very moment with great pride. It's appropriate that I speak to you all before dinner because food time was Galen time. More often than not, one's arrival at the Cox house was met with Galen offering you some type of freelance appetizer that he had just conjured up, be they bacon bits, gyoza, or hopefully a bowl of his homemade ramen, which still haunts you all to this very day. Many of us would then have the pleasure of having a wonderful meal prepared by Sharon and Galen, even if that meal included a rib recipe that was stolen from my wife. After all the meal preparation was complete, the highlight of the process was a peaceful and warming words that came from Galen's blessings. So comforting were these pre-meal graces that I have stolen their format and integrated them into our pre-meal blessings. I believe I came out ahead on that theft. So could we please bow our heads in prayer? In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the strength of your love, which is incredibly present on this special day, for the gift of new friendships and the blending of two special families. We are ever thankful. We thank you for bringing all of our loved ones here safely today and ask that you keep them out of harm's way as they return home from where they came. We ask that you keep your ever watchful eye on those close to our hearts who could not be with us today, most notably Marilyn and Andrew Sasek, Robert Gottschall, Ralph Cox, Diane DeVita, Tricia Meldrum, and Galen Cox. We ask that the nourishment provided by this feast today will not only fill our souls with the grace of your love, but also ask it will continue to provide Erica and Garrett with the spiritual nutrition to nurture their loving future together. And last, echoing the words that preceded so many meals in the past, we ask you to bless this food and the hands that prepared it so we may be stronger in your service. Amen.